with everybody around here, and everybody has a great affection for him, for the person he is. There's nobody that ever would say anything bad about BA. He's so endearing to everybody, and I think everyone wants to win for him. Just really excited for him to be recognized in the way that he is. I know he's two-time coach of the year, but just done an amazing job this year with the team in really adverse situations, and just love playing for him.
Well, wasn't that interesting? Rob Ninkovich, you played with Brady for another coach of some repute by the name of Bill Belichick for an awful long time. And I don't recall Brady ever saying that about Bill. What did you take away from the verbal bouquets Tom just threw in the direction of his new coach?
That was about two dozen red roses right there. I mean, he was over the top about that particular comment on Bruce Arians. And you think about back probably midway through the season, I was saying that they might need to replace the head coach. And now Tom Brady is saying all these wonderful things about Bruce Arians. I wonder if it's because they're in the Super Bowl. I mean, think about it. If they would have lost last week, I'm sure there wouldn't have been such a compliment session on Bruce Arians. But look, I mean, I think halfway through the season, when they went on this 7-game winning streak, they changed a little bit offensively. They protected Tom Moore, which I said was the Achilles heel of this team. So Bruce Arians, maybe he changed a little bit. Maybe from that 7-game winning streak, he's had 25% less pressure. So, I mean, something happened, and Tom likes it.
I can't be the only one. Dan Orlovsky, I'm looking at you. I can't be the only one that, as he was talking, all I could think of was Belichick. That there was not the image of Bruce Arians never entered my mind as he was talking. All I could picture was Belichick. How about you?
Yeah, because we never heard Tom, at least while he was playing in New England, speak like this about Bill Belichick. A little bit when he got done there. I think that Tom Brady loves two things: team and sacrifice. And I think Bruce Arians has really embodied that this year. In many ways, he's empowered Tom Brady in ways that we just didn't get to see in the past in New England. You know, like so often coaches, and Nico and Bart know this, like they think they know everything. And so the player is always underneath them, and they talk to players. And I think Bruce Arians talked with Tom Brady this year and gave him the ability to take ownership of this offense and ownership of the football team. And he put the team first. Nico talked about some of the adjustments post-bye week, that potential golf foursome, right? And then the sacrifice of Bruce Arians going, you know what, Tom, like I am going to step a little bit to the side. And I do want you to take over a little bit. And I think that Brady has absolutely loved that. Brady has loved the empowerment from his coach. So I don't think Tom is just like throwing flowers here. I think he's just sharing exactly how he feels when it comes to Bruce Arians. That he's given him, he's embodied the two most important things to Tom Brady: team and sacrifice.
Yeah, he's empowered him in some ways. I mean, Arians said, I just let him coach sometimes. I sit back and watch. Bart Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, because I wonder what the narrative would have been early on in the season. You know, I think that the pivotal week where they kind of came to, and the two minds came and said, hey, listen, Tom, I'm going to allow you to do what you need to do, was during that bye week. Because I think that's when everything changed. That's when they figured out what's their best personnel. You know, they were bouncing around and no risky, no bisky. Well, no risky is putting Tom Brady at risk. You going back there, and Tom Brady didn't sign up to go back there and hit his head off the turf. You know, I think when they decided to go with two tight ends on the field, it opened everything up. It also provided, you know, Tom Brady with a lot of protection. And listen, we all love structure early on in our career, but at some point we figure it out and we say, hey, I don't need all this coaching and overcoaching. I think early on Bruce Arians was doing a lot of overcoaching. You know, I think he was criticizing him, but I think he figured out what the player he has. And it takes time, you know, to get the chemistry right. And I think they found that delicate balance where we can do a little bit of what you want to do, Bruce, but we can do a little bit about what I like to do, because what I like to do got us 6 Super Bowls. And I think he likes the fact that he doesn't have the structure. It's not as stressful as what I hear. I mean, Nico could speak to it, of what that environment is like in New England. I think it's a little bit more relaxed in Tampa. And listen, at this stage in Tom's career, I think that's what he enjoys, a little fun in the sun. That's where all old people go to retire. Florida, right?
That's right, and it's working out for him in his golden years. Again, those words that were just up on the screen there. He's a great friend. He's a great person. He's very loyal. I don't think those are all about changing the blocking.
2 first-round picks and a guy you took in last year's first round. It'll be interesting to see how teams get creative with their offers. But this is an unprecedented situation in terms of a player this good, this young, being potentially traded at this point in his contract. So we should see some unprecedented types of offers in exchange for Deshaun Watson when they start to roll in.
Correct. I think it is actually a reasonable statement to say this will be the biggest trade in NFL history when you take all those things into account, and I think the return will be the biggest in history. Dan Orlovsky, how do you see it?
If I was Dave Gettleman of the New York Giants, I would take Daniel Jones, I would take Saquon Barkley, and I would take 3 first-round picks and call Houston and not allow them to get off the phone with me. Greeny, as a general manager in this moment, if you ever were going to take a swing, this is the swing to take. If Deshaun Watson was coming out of college football this year, everybody in the NFL, I think, outside of maybe Kansas City, would be trying just nonstop to get the first pick. What package do we have to get put together to go get the first pick? This is the same type of situation. As a general manager, the last thing you want to do is look back and with regret that we didn't try hard enough, that we didn't throw in one extra first rounder. That's the type of player in person that you're going to get with Deshaun Watson. So what I'm watching is who, as a general manager, is going to get creative? How creative are they going to get to go get one of the best players in the NFL? This is the time where you can make your career as a general manager.
Yeah, Herschel Walker went for 3 first-rounders once upon a time. This should do that and then some. Bart Scott, what do you think?
Well, for me, I think the market for Deshaun Watson has shrunken a little bit because when you think about now that you have Matthew Stafford out there, teams that are ready and willing to win now is going to have the ability to only give up 1 first-round draft pick. I don't think that teams like the Jets or teams like Carolina have to give up as much draft equity as people may think, because at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson has the ultimate no-trade clause to decide that where he wants to go, so it has to be mutually beneficial for both sides, and they have to come to an agreement. You know, we saw the game plan now. Now, Deshaun Watson can come to camp and not be a willing participant. He can come late. He cannot come in off-season programs. So I think he can force their hands, and teams understand that if they have a wink-wink with Deshaun Watson, that they can be able to get him for a little bit less compensation. Nobody can give more than, to me, in my opinion, than the Dolphins or the New York Jets. So I think that's really the big market for him, because they can give 2 first-round draft picks this year, and they can give you a talented young quarterback that you may not want to give up on if you decide to go a different way. You think about the Giants, giving Saquon Barkley and giving Daniel Jones. I don't want an aging, running back. We know the compensation. We saw that with David Johnson, a guy who, had a good season but hasn't really got back to form. We don't know what Saquon is, with that knee injury. I think the Jets and the Miami Dolphins have a better chance at landing Deshaun Watson than anybody because of the addition of Matthew Stafford.
Those are 2 teams that we hear a lot about. And Dan Orlovsky, part of the Texans' thinking on that might come down to, do they like either of the 2 young quarterbacks that Bart is talking about? If you were scouting those trades, if you were making this deal, and someone was saying, well, our quarterback could become Sam Darnold, or our quarterback could become Tua Tagovailoa, which one of those 2 interests you more?
Yeah, probably Sam Darnold, but it also matters what's coming with that quarterback. Are the Jets throwing in an extra early pick? Is there another player addition added to it other than, what Miami can offer me? So if we're just looking at just the quarterbacks, yeah, I would take Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold still, and Greeny, I've said this to you 1,000 times. You give me Sam Darnold and you put him around good players like some of the other young quarterbacks in his draft class have been a part of, you're going to get a really good player. Going back to what Bart said, Jamal Adams went for 2 first-round picks this year. You mean to tell me that you think Deshaun's going to go for 2? Like, the starting point conversation is 3 first-round picks. Matthew Stafford is a very, very, very good piece. Deshaun will be the biggest trade in the history of the NFL. There's going to be an enormous bidding war, and it's not just draft picks. There's going to have to be some players going to Houston as well. So I disagree. I think there's at least 3 first-round picks, at least, and teams feel good about it going to Houston.
Go ahead, Bart.
Dan, I'm giving you the number 2 overall pick. What other team can offer you the number 2 overall pick a starting quarterback that's young as well that can potentially be a franchise quarterback, and I can give you number 25 if I'm the Jets. So I'm giving you basically 3 first-round picks in 1 round right there. I'm not giving you 3 first-round picks and Sam Darnold, your potential future franchise quarterback. That is proper compensation, in my opinion. Because who else can offer you that? Who else is going to give you that? And where are those picks going to be? Jamal Adams went for 2 late-round picks. Seattle is going to be picking in the 20s. I'm giving you number 2. I'm giving you number 2. So if you do like one of these young quarterbacks coming out, you can take them as well. So I'm giving you a number 6 overall pick. I'm giving you number 2 this year. And I'm giving you number 25 if you want. After that, I'm